Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Me fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I am your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours. It's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, of course. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez. He's the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, the El Dorado Beach Club, and at night for dinner, that El Dorado transforms into the ever-so-romantic Vista Grill with dramatic views of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors. And of course, at Lapa Lapa, you can enjoy that same view of the Los Muertos Pier all day long for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. Now, this week, I have two very special guests to introduce to you. The first you're going to hear from is a man named Edgar Rene Luna Shan. For some people in Vallarta, you regulars out there, you know him as Rambo. And the second person is Robina Oliver. And Robina is the owner of a place called La Sirena Reina, quality swimwear for women. It's located near the municipal market in Puerto Vallarta. But first, let's see what's happening in Puerto Vallarta this week, the 12th of July, 2018. Now, weather reports are pretty boring, so I'm going to just say that the rains have arrived in Vallarta. Finally, and all is well with the world. Now, when I talk about rain, that means gully washers in the late afternoons, in the early evenings, lots of humidity, temps in the low 90s. And speaking of weather, did I say weather reports were boring? Nah. Anyway, remember we were talking about parasailing, that one parasailing accident last week, where this woman's tow line snapped loose from the boat. And she has this 45-minute odyssey where she finally crash lands at the Puerto Vallarta airport. You remember that, right? Well, I had been wondering at the time if she had purchased traveler's insurance, which she hadn't, by the way, would she have been covered? And if you also recall last week, I had reached out to Michael Keller of Guardian Insurance Mexico to find out the answer to that, but it was too late. On such short notice. But Michael did get back to me, and he told me that had she purchased the policy that I usually get when I come down to Mexico, then she would have been covered. Now, he says that the policy covers amateur sports and dangerous hobbies, but it would not have covered professional sports injuries. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't forget, this could be the most important purchase that you make when you're planning your Mexican vacation, and that is traveler's insurance. And it's cheap enough, you guys. I mean, depending on the company that you go with, it costs no more than between $40 to $70, depending on the length of your stay. Now, remember, all policies are not the same, so check your policy. They're different from company to company. But if you had bought Michael's policy, the one that I get, of course, she would have been covered. And if you haven't heard those interviews that I had with Michael Keller and with Pamela Thompson Webb, Michael Keller is from Guardian Insurance Mexico, right? And Pamela Thompson Webb is of Healthcare Resources PV. And if you haven't heard those two interviews, I suggest you go and listen to both of them so you can understand the importance of buying traveler's insurance before you leave for Mexico. So go do that. Now, there was one time when I actually forgot to purchase traveler's insurance, and I didn't realize it until I arrived in Vallarta. and I was unpacking my stuff, and I'm going, oh no, what do I do? But it was no problem. I contacted Michael, and he set me up with coverage while I was in Vallarta. Now, it took effect the following day, so I would not have been covered with some of the cool things that it does cover, like lost luggage, if the trip gets canceled, all kinds of stuff like that. So just remember that when you are in Mexico, you can actually buy that coverage too. Just don't get hurt till you're covered. And as he had told me, it takes 24 hours to generate that and to get you covered. So you can't just go, fall off a cliff or something like that and then call Michael and go, hey, Michael, can you cover me for some traveler's insurance? Really? It's not going to work that way, right? You understand, right? Okay, so anyway, I have links to those 2 episodes, and I've got them in the show notes. If you haven't listened to them already, go back and listen to them. They're great interviews. Now, Huarique Restaurant in Puerto Vallarta is having a fundraiser for RISE. RISE is the Refugio Infantil Santa Esperanza, which is an orphanage of sorts. It's more like a home for children here in Puerto Vallarta. Let me read from their news release. The biggest and most exciting summer benefit of 2018, RISE and Huarique Restaurant invites you to a reception on July 19th, 2018, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. The benefit will support continuing education for the children of RISE in Puerto Vallarta. All proceeds from the event will go to the education funds for the children of RISE, and the tickets are available at Huarique Restaurant for only 400 Mexican pesos. The event will include beer and wine, delicious food. They're going to have exciting raffles and door prizes. They're going to have an unusual 50-50 door prize. So join to support this amazing cause and meet the awesome children from RISE. How about that? Now that should be very, very interesting. Let me tell you a little bit about RISE. Let's go right now from their website here. The Refugio Infantil Santa Esperanza, Children's Shelter of Hope, also known as RISE, has given children in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico, hope for a better life. RISE is a nonprofit shelter for babies and children up to the age of 14 who have been turned over to us by DIF, a Mexican government organization that protects the rights of children. Wow. So anyway, if you happen to be in town on July 19th, go to Huarique, lay down your 400 pesos, that's about $20 US, and enjoy some beer and some wine and some really great appetizers. And I'm sure you're going to meet some really, really fine people while you're there. And also you're going to be donating to a very fine cause as well. So if you're in town, do try to make it. Now, one day soon, I'm going to be taking you right there for sure. I'm going to take you over to RISE, and we're going to hear a little bit about what they do there. That is going to be a very interesting show. All right, I got another 5-star review in iTunes this week, and it reads, "Brings life to the things we experience," by Lucy and Joey from Canada. Having visited Mexico 40-plus times over the many years in recent years, my husband and I vacationed 2 years in a row on the south side of Puerto Vallarta and realized that we had found our spot. A chance meeting with some dog-owning New Yorkers at an ice cream shop on our second visit sealed our fate. They had just purchased a new condo and were singing its praises. The next thing you know, we had toured their unit and then the whole building and had placed an offer to buy a condo of our own. The launch of the Puerto Vallarta travel show was perfectly timed to coincide with the realization that we would soon be spending much more time in the area. Having this podcast is like having the audio portion of a museum tour. Without it, you're just looking at things and having no idea what's behind them. Kudos to Barry Kessler for his wonderful work on this podcast. I never miss an episode. Wow. Thank you, Lucy and Joey. What more can I say? But thank you. Thanks for listening. And thanks for that 5-star review. It really helps me. And It helps me along. These encouraging notes that you send, I really enjoy them, and I really appreciate them. So thank you so much. Okay, now let's get on with the show, okay? If you've spent some time along the Malecon in Puerto Vallarta, which is that walkway, it's the boardwalk along the shoreline, and if you've been there at night, or maybe at the Margarita Grill in the early evenings, you might have seen, or you will see, if you haven't already, my next guest. His name is Edgar Rene Luna Shun, and he's known by many here as Rambo. And when you first see Edgar, it can be sort of a shock. It was a shock to me when I first saw him. I didn't know what to make of him. He was a shirtless guy. He had long white pants, tennis shoes, really nothing else other than a fanny pack and a belt. When you see him up close, you will notice that he has scarring at the top of his head and his back. And if you look close or you shake his hand, you will also notice that his thumbs are intact, but his fingers on both hands are basically scarred up stubs. He has a shock of gray and black hair, kind of like a mohawk style. He's very trim, he's very fit, very athletic, and full of energy. And you'll see Edgar dancing. That's right. That's what he does. He stands in front of one of the loud nightclubs on the Malecon. You know, there's 3 of them there that I'm talking about. One of them is named Mandala. The other is the Zoo, and the other is La Vaca. And if you don't know about those 3 nightclubs, they're right next to each other. One of them is, they're both all like kind of wide open they're facing the ocean, and the music just blasts and blasts and blasts until the wee hours of the morning, sometimes until 5 in the morning. And anyway, you will see Edgar standing on a bench, dancing, or doing calisthenics, and just having a good time, just totally oblivious to everything around him, you know? You can see him, like I said, also in front of the Margarita Grill over there on Pino Suarez. Now, I always wanted to talk with him and bring him on the show, but I didn't know if he could speak English or not. So one day after sunset, I was walking down from Casa Isabel, where I watched that sunset and enjoyed a brew or two at the bar. And then I was walking down to the beach, and I ran into Edgar dancing across the street from the Margarita Grill. And I asked him how his English was, and I was surprised to find that his English was really, really good. He explained to me how he had spent some time in San Diego, California as a laborer, and that's where he learned his English. So I asked him if he would talk with me, and he cheerfully agreed. And so without any further ado, let's get right down to the corner of Basilio Badillo and Pino Suarez, across the street from the Margarita Grill, and let's meet my new friend in Vallarta, and now yours, Edgar Rene Luna Shun. Rambo. Rambo?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for sitting down with me and talking with me. Now, people know you as Rambo here in Puerto Vallarta, but what's your name? What's your real name?
My name is Luna for my father. He died the last many years, almost 15 years ago. And my name is Luna Chang for my mama. And then it's Edgar Rene Luna Chang.
Excellent. So tell me about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path that led you here to Puerto Vallarta?
I like Mexico. Everything in Mexico, you know. Chiapas, Guanajuato, Querétaro, León, Cereda, Fresnillo, Jiménez, Camargo, Torreón, Chihuahua. I've been there in different places in Mexico City, you know. I'm from Guatemala, and I like to... why me here in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta, especially because I saw on the TV that people, Mexicanos, have a picardía mexicana, good. I like people from every part or area from Mexico, and one day I said I need to go to Mexico to learn something new in my story life. It's because I'm here in Puerto Vallarta. I've been there in different areas. The people call me Rambo in different places. I don't know why. So now I know why, because my, my inteligencia connect to my body is something wonderful, because it's connect to God, you know. I be here Puerto Vallarta because Vallarta have everything what I like it, you know, swimming, exercise. Vallarta is some area for the tourists like Vallarta, it seems like me. When I've been there the first days, I feeling something inside, something wonderful, something reality. I like peace and love and myself and peace for everybody. It's because I'm here in Puerto Vallarta and I worked here before. Now I don't work so much because I have accident the last 15 years.
Yeah, tell me about that. You've got some burns on your body. What happened there?
Okay, because I work in some hotel for a few years. One day I go to the to this Tapa Vallarta to work in painting in three niveles, 3 floors. And the cables from on the street, the 12 or 1 o'clock is the energy is more strong and arc. And the first in my shoulder, and then in my another left, the legs, and another legs to the right and the left, and my head, and I have no finger. But it's okay, but no, it's okay, but I'm so happy. The life continue. The more important, how you feeling inside, how you think inside, you know. So I'm alive. I'm so happy.
How long did it take you to recover from that nasty accident?
Okay, I was there in hospital regional for 1 day, Sunday. Another day, Monday, 6 o'clock, we go to the Guadalajara for 20 days, inconsciente, you know, inconsciente, and it take me 6 months. 2 liters de sangre, and a half liter of antibiotic, 1 liter of the suero combination in my arm for 6 months. And I take 6 months in recovery because my mind and my body connect. I'm very strong guy. So I'll be here. It's no problem.
Well, you are a really strong guy. And, you know, I am amazed when I walk past sometimes some of these clubs and you're out there dancing. I mean, and not just a little dancing, but you're kind of doing, I don't know, like it looks like Tai Chi sometimes, you know?
And I like exercise. It's something wonderful for everybody, but the people don't understand the exercise is de another dimension, como los tortugas ninja. Tortugas ninja, pero es beautiful and excellent and perfecto. The exercise, something more important in the life too.
I should say so. I mean, how old are you?
Okay, in October 29th, I have 66 years old. I born in 1952, October 29th. So my exercise is, I like it. I'm so happy, feeling more, so happy inside, beautiful inside, guapo for outside.
Yeah. Definitely guapo on the outside, brother. You are. Look at you, man. You know, 66 years old. Think about that, you guys. I mean, how many of you 66-year-olds can do what this guy does? I don't know, man. I don't know. So let me ask you a couple questions. How do you have, when you got burned, you lost fingers on both your hands. So what do you do? How do you survive? What do you do to work?
Okay, sometimes en el restaurante Margarita Grill, before give me place stay inside for place for sleeping, for take a shower, for something to eat. And sometimes we go to the restaurant Cántaros, the same story, sleeping for work, and sometimes bring me 200 pesos every Saturday because so security all night. And sometimes I sleeping in one home, the Doña Rita. It's no more. I have a condominium here now. I'm sleeping there for place stay for work. And sometimes I'm sleeping in many restaurants inside, So it's my life. And most people from the United States bring me the food and say, Rambo is for you. And I say, thank you very much. It's God pleasure. Sometimes when I'm dancing, people bring me some money. And it's okay. It's okay, but not okay, but it's okay.
Yeah, no kidding. It's okay. Well, that means that they like you and that they think that you're a kind soul.
Yes, it's because people from another country, from the United States, and Vallarta too, people understand my situation. So for me, it's no problem because my mind is open and everything. I don't care what people speak about me. The more important is yo, Rambo. Because I don't like problem, The problem is in my mind, the problem is in my body. When I exercise, it's feel me so happy, My fighting is inside, not outside. It's different. People don't understand why I'm here. I'm here because I have 66 years old. I need to complete my mission. I have 66 years old. And next 34 years, I have 100 years. When I have 15 years, I say, Mama, I have 15 years old. I need 85 years more. And she said, you crazy. No, people don't believe me. I'm look crazy, but I'm not crazy. I know that.
All right, so you get help from restaurants. They let you sleep in their place and let you, use their restroom or whatever it is, right? Let you use their bathrooms and stuff like that, right?
Yes, because it's not easy to people bring me work because for my finger. This is not for my finger. The more important is, number one, my feeling hard to connect to my intellect is number two. The body and my finger is secondary. But people no easy bring me work and pay me a week. So what am I doing? To stay here to dancing, people bring me a little money and bring me food. No problem. I'm not die for something to eat. I'm not die because I don't have money, I don't have food. I'm not dying. I'm alive. This is the difference.
If somebody was going to be looking for you, maybe they were going to say, "Hey, Rambo, I'm bringing you something." What kind of things do you need that people would be able to bring for you?
Cassandra, the Galleria in Basilio Vadillo, the last 2 years, they bring me 2 pilots shoes, the new. Cassandra, he loved me, the same everybody, the same her. And the last 3 days, she bring me the new shoes too. Some Mexicanos, they bring me some clothes. People from United States bring me as mochila, as suitcase. I have all my clothes in some places for the moment, So I don't have problem for clothes or for shoes. I don't have problem for something to eat. And I don't have problem for money. I don't care the money, but the more important, I have and sometimes some money in my pocket. Sometimes I don't have nothing, but it's okay. my life is very simple, and I like it. No home, no wife, no baby, no nothing. I like the women not to clothe because too much responsibility. You need home, money in the bank, car, and have a good family. If I don't have nothing, I'm alone. I'm so happy too. I respect the women too. It's my decision to live like this because I'm free for everything. No militaries, no police, no everybody say me nothing because my name's Luna Chan is arriba, up, you know.
Is there something that I've forgotten to ask you? Are there something that you want to talk to my listeners about at all?
I like people. I like people, positive people. And I like everybody. I have respect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate your talking to me and taking a little time so that I can introduce you to my listeners. If somebody was looking for you, where would they find you? Where? I mean, because you're all over the place. Where do you hang out mostly?
Well, I find
Yeah, if they were looking for you to say hi or maybe to bring you something, where would they find you?
here, from to Margarita Grill, or from to the condominium, Ocean or Pacific. I'm here, you know. So if somebody looking for me, I'm here in Basilio Badillo. I'm here.
All right. Well, we're going to look for you here on Basilio Badillo across from the Margarita Grill. And I just want to thank you for taking the time and talking to me and letting me introduce you to my listeners. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for asking me many questions. It's 45 questions. I don't know how many questions we have together.
Well, I think we did it, man. I'm going to take some pictures of Rambo here, and we'll have those in the show notes for the episode of this podcast, so you'll check it out. And then next time you're in Puerto Vallarta, look for him. Don't be afraid to come up to him and say hi, because he's the nicest man you're going to ever meet. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you very much. Last pleasure. Thank you very much for looking for me. You know, it's people like to speak to me. Who is me? And I'm here. That's it. Thank
Yes, you are. Thanks, buddy. Wow, what a story. Now, when you see Edgar's scars from being electrocuted, you can just imagine the incredible jolt, that arc of electricity running through his body and exiting through the top of his head and his back and his legs, and his 8 fingers that were holding, I guess it was that ladder, they just must have just fried. It must have been a horrific sight to behold. And those months that he spent in Guadalajara in the hospital, wow. I mean, I know why they call him Rambo. It's because he's fit and he's shirtless and he never gives up and he's always in motion. He's just so happy to be alive. Now, this is a man who really, really loves life. He's homeless. He sleeps on floors. He has no form of income. Instead, he depends on the kindness of others to get through his days and his nights. He's not bitter. He's not angry. And by all accounts, he should be, but he's not. He's a free spirit, and he's a kind, kind man. So next time you see Edgar, say hello. Call him Edgar instead of Rambo. He might. I'm sure that he would love that. And tip him. Tip him for dancing. Maybe ask him if he needs anything. Take a picture of him and tip him. Take a picture of him with you and tip him, okay? He's a proud guy, so he might hesitate when you offer him something, but I guarantee that he will be extremely appreciative. He will. And I have pictures of Edgar in the show notes, so check him out and look for him next time you're in Puerto Vallarta. Now, my next guest is a recommendation from you guys, from you listeners out there. And her name is Robina Oliver. And Robina owns a ladies' swimwear shop It's called La Sirena Reina, which translates into Serene Queen. And now look, you guys, you men out there, I know what you're thinking. How do I fast forward this podcast? I'm not interested in lady swimwear. Now, not so fast, you guys. This is going to be more than that, because we're going to be talking about lady swimwear. We're going to be talking about men's stuff, too, stuff for you, because Robina knows a whole lot about Puerto Vallarta. She's full of Puerto Vallarta information. La Sirena Reina is a very small and kind of easy to miss place. It's located near the municipal market downtown, across from the Electra Bank building. Now, that's the place that I recommend that you go to if you have dollars to exchange into pesos. So if you're going to, and by the way, if you are going to go and exchange dollars, Canadian, U.S., whatever it's going to be, and you go to that Electra Bank, make sure you bring your passport. Okay? All right. Anyhow, Robina's shop is clean, it's air-conditioned, it's packed full of lovely swimwear and wraps and a whole lot more. But more importantly, Robina is there. So, without any further ado, let me take you to Calle Juarez 174 in central Puerto Vallarta, and let's meet Robina Oliver, the owner of La Sirena Reina, quality swimwear for women. Robina, thank you so much for inviting me to your place.
Thanks for coming by. It's nice to meet you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What was your path that led you to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, when I was young, my dad moved to the Cayman Islands. So I grew up half my life in the Cayman Islands from when I was 9 till 18 and the other half on the East Coast. So I always had one foot in the sand.
Yeah.
And then I always wanted to move to a place where was palm trees. And one thing led to another. It was definitely a very circuitous route, but I was working at a restaurant in San Francisco, and I met somebody up there who was Mexican by birth, and we got married. And we came here on vacation to Vallarta. My mom had a timeshare, and we traded to come to the Westin. And I literally was laying by the pool, and I looked around, and I said, what if all these women want a bathing suit? There's no bathing suits in this town for a woman that's above 12 and above a size 4. And I literally looked around the pool, and I said, I really think this is a business that could work. And I just wouldn't give it up. I wouldn't give up. And I went back to San Francisco, and I was like, I really think this could work. I think this is a business that could work. And we had purchased a condo that was in a prepayment penalty, so we couldn't sell for 3 years without a huge financial blow. So it made me plan, because I'm not a planner. Generally, I just jump in with 2 feet. But it made me plan and wait. And then 6 months later, I'm like, to my husband, I was like, can I start buying bathing suits? And he didn't really want to do it. He was a lot younger than me. We both worked in the restaurant business, and he didn't want to do it. I'm like, we could always move back. It's not a one-way, we could always move back. And that was 12 years ago. We moved here 12 years ago. And it took a year to open the business, and things went along pretty well. And about 2 years ago, we're not married anymore.
Oh.
No, it's actually really great.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's actually really great.
It is actually really great. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no, it was...
All right, I'll take that back.
Oh. Yeah, no, it was 1 year of hell. But now it's great. And so I still have the shop. I had to change the name and everything, but things are going really well. And people have known I've been here for 11 years. They come back. And they're really happy that I'm here, that I can put a bathing suit on them that they don't feel awful about, and they get really excited, and that makes me really excited, so it's fun.
All right, so tell us a little what you carry here. Tell us about your inventory.
Well, it's definitely 95% bathing suits. I do get the random cover-up and clothing, but not very much at all. The bathing suits in sizes, I have a few size 6s and 8s, mostly because people browbeat me into carrying them. When I started, I wanted to be only size 12 and up. 12 and up, that was it. It was going to be 12 to 28. And then smaller, as I call them, smaller women came in, and they said, well, we want a bathing suit too. And I've always been a size 16 to 20, and I'm like, I don't care. You can buy a bathing suit anywhere.
Yeah.
But no, they can't. Not if you don't want to wear a string bikini or you're not a supermodel. So then I started carrying what I call smaller sizes, 8s and 10s. I have a couple 6s. And so I have 8s and 10s. To now the largest size is about a 24, 26. And most of them, like a bell curve, go between size 12 and 20.
Right. And most of them are one pieces?
No, actually, most women now prefer tankinis, so they're technically called two pieces. But when you say that to a woman, they freak out because God knows we don't want that middle part hanging out there on the beach. I do carry bikinis for everybody of every size, but tankinis are definitely the largest inventory that I have. And I do have one pieces too. I have swim dresses, I have board shorts, I have just about anything that you would wear at the beach. I have it. But yeah, I have everything that a woman could possibly need to be on the beach and feel pretty.
Yeah, and feel right. You don't want to feel uneven. You have been here for 11 years, you say?
I moved here in Thanksgiving Day. We arrived in 2006.
Okay, and
so however many that is.
Always been in this spot?
No, yeah, that was part of the whole...
All right, so let's talk about that.
That was part of the whole drama. The business started out being called Curvas Peligrosas, which means dangerous curves, which was a really fun name, and it had a fun logo, and it was all really fun. And as you're driving into Vallarta from different, always mountainous paths, you'll see the signs along the road, Curvas Peligrosas, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that was part of the whole divorce drama, that the name... My ex had the name copyrighted, so it was easier for me to just start fresh again. So I started with the whole mermaid thing. So now I'm the mermaid queen, La Sirena Reina.
Okay. And now where was that?
Literally right next door.
It was right next door.
It was literally right next door. I was in the space next door at on Juarez 178. I was there for, well, let's see, 07 to 16. So, no, that doesn't sound right. Is that right? Jesus, really? 07 right? To this is 18?
Yeah, it is.
Holy cow. Yeah, I guess I was over there for, is that possible?
Like
no, it's got to be 9 years. It's got to be 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay, 9 years. That makes sense. And then I've been in this space, 174, for 2 years. But I've kind of outgrown it this season. I think I'm going to have to find a bigger space because it's, I've grown a lot in the past 2 years.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of merchandise crammed in here.
I've got a lot of, I don't have, and sometimes I get, you don't have anywhere to sit. No, it's really more about bathing suits because if I put us in seating, then there'll be less bathing suits.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Would you say that most of your clients come from this downtown area in the romantic zone, or do you actually get people coming in from the hotel zone? And
no, people hunt me down from all over because I'm pretty much literally the only place you can buy a bathing suit that's not a string or for a supermodel. And I get people that come in from Punta de Mita, they come in from Sayulita. I have one regular client that lives in Loda Marcos. I have one person that came several times over the high season. She was staying in Carayas. So they everywhere. Yeah, the marina everywhere.
Well, and you're easy to get to, really. I mean,
it's easy on a bus line. Yeah, not so easy for. Well, there's a parking garage close.
Right.
But driving downtown is becoming increasingly not pleasant.
Right. So you're taking a taxi or a bus.
Yeah, a taxi or a bus is definitely an easier way to go, unless you're used to. I don't know what you call it. Fighting your way downtown on the streets. I don't know. Driving here is definitely a thing.
Yeah, it is. At least it has been lately. Although, I guess when the off-season comes, things will kind of quiet down.
It mellows out a little.
Yeah. What is the favorite thing that you like about your place here?
Well, one of the coolest things is that women are always really traumatized about buying a bathing suit, and I kind of have taken that awful part away. And usually, most of the time, when they leave, they're like, oh my God, that was so great. I've never had so many choices. Or, this is great. I love my new bathing suit. And it's just really cool to take that body hatred away for just that one little particular moment, perhaps. I'm sure when they go out on the beach again, they'll be like, oh, my belly, oh, my arms, oh, my thighs. And I always say, nobody's looking at your upper arms. They're worried that you're looking at their belly. Nobody could care about your thighs. They're worried that you're looking at their whatever. So women just are really bad about.
You got to be like a psychiatrist around here, don't you?
It really, It's definitely, and it's really kind of hard when women give up and they're like, no. I just don't like the way my body looks in a bathing suit. And it's like, oh, that just really, that hurts. The very first year that I had a younger woman come in, she was probably in her early 20s, and she was large. She was probably like a size 28 or 30. And I brought a suit in there for her, and she goes, oh my God, this has never happened. This is too big. Oh my God. And she was so excited. I still almost get teared up when I remember that, because it was just like, It was so like such a thing for her. It was so cool. So I really like that. I really like that. The women can feel good, not only just comfortable or okay, but feel good in their bathing suit.
Do you get a lot of local clients here? A lot of Mexican clients?
I do, actually. And in the summer more, as the tourist flows here in Vallarta. In the winter, we have more snowbirds. And in the summer, we have more nacionals that come from all over. But I have regular customers that come from Monterrey. They come from San Luis Potosí. Every time they're here, they'll come in Mexico City or Guadalajara. And it's just like the humidity switch. You know, you can tell the switch, like immediately it'll start to be, where are you from? San Luis Potosí or Aguascalientes or whatever. But in the summer, most of my regular clientele are, vacationing nationals.
Cool. All right, let's take a little detour and let's ask a couple questions because you've been here a long time and all of my listeners, they all eat and they all travel on their stomachs.
So do I.
So do I. It's one of the reasons I come here, you know. What would be your top picks for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Well, I live in Fluvial, which is not south side or downtown. So, and again, with the driving for dinner, I will prefer to stay on my side. But
we can talk about Fluvial.
for breakfast, I mean the old standbys, you know, Freddy's, Toucan, and Memos. There's a couple really great places out in Fluvial. One is called Alcatraz's, which is right in the back parking lot of Costco. If you have your back to Costco and you're looking north, you'll see Alcatraz's, and that place is packed. Really, really busy.
Yeah.
And generally, you'll mostly see nationals. You'll see, and, you know, it depends again on the season. But that place is great for breakfast. And actually, she has now, I think, either 3 or 4 different locations. Her first one was in front of the Sheraton. It's still there. And then she has the Fluvial one. And I think she opened one in the Marina. And I'm pretty sure now she has one in Nuevo, too.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to go to that one by Costco, which is right by my house. There's actually 4 different choices depending on where you are that you can go to Alcatraz's. That's a great breakfast.
What do you get there?
Well, they have this one breakfast that has like everything. I think it's called the arero or something like that. It has like a piece of meat and it has a little quesadilla and it has some beans and it has some eggs and it has the 2 different kinds of salsas, and then they bring you a whole array of salsas on the table and you get your little sweetbreads, and then you go home and take a nap. And they have, you know, juices and coffees, and they have everything there. But yes, no, it's Mexican style. Not
okay.
so. I mean, they have pancakes and stuff, but it's more Mexican style breakfast.
Right. If you're going to go get pancakes, you go to the pancake house or something, right?
They actually just opened a new Waffle House in Fluvial too, but I haven't been there yet.
Oh, all right.
There's a great donut place there, though.
Let's talk about, you know, we're all interested in Fluvial too. Where's this donut place?
Donut place is further to the north on the street that goes, I say, from the Holiday Inn to Costco. I think that one's called Los Tules, and then the one that goes north-south is called Avenida Fluvial. And Avenida Fluvial, if you cross over the PTL River going north, just before you get to the end of that road, there's a donut place which is called Munching Donuts. And they are not like that donut guy that's on the beach. I know a lot of people love that donut guy on the beach, but these are really good gourmet donuts. So, and they just opened. So.
And they have sugar in them.
Yeah,
which
they
is
do have
something
some of
that's
that.
Missing around here.
Yeah, no, it's true. The sweetbreads, they're not really sweet.
No, you eat them and go, okay,
That's all
that
right.
was okay. Let's try this other one. No, that wasn't sweet either.
No,
Huh?
exactly.
Oh, that's weird. All right, how about dinner?
Oh my God, the dinner choices are endless. Well, my favorite place ever is Joe Jack's. And Tony the bartender, and ginger mojitos, even though they don't put the mermaid in the cup anymore. I've got to talk to Joe about that. I think he's having a hard time getting them from China or whatever. But those ginger mojitos, Tony has knocked me off my stool more than once. Yeah, they are really good. And they're 2 for 1 during the day, either to 5 o'clock during the winter, and then as summer comes, I think they do 2 for 1 till 6 or 7. But the food there is fantastic also. I mean, seafood, great burgers.
What's your favorite meal? If you were going to go to Joe Jack's?
It's so hard to choose. They have this one thing that they have a lot. Okay, I'm from San Francisco. I know I'm a little bit of a food snob. But they have this one thing that's asparagus and fava bean puree crostini that has, I don't think it's Parmesan, Romano cheese shredded on top. It's insanely good. like insanely good.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, everything's good there. They also have a green papaya salad that's done kind of Thai style with shrimp and cilantro and mint. That's really good. I mean, obviously, I like to eat. I got to say, the burger is fantastic too. It just depends.
Yeah.
But mostly, it's all about the ginger mojitos
So they
and taking a tab home for sure.
Yeah, of course, especially to the Fluvial.
All the way to Fluvial.
Yeah. They just redid that.
They
didn't
remodeled, yeah. They were in that old spot, and then I guess they sold the building next door and junked it all down, and they went into the space over where Azafran is now. Mm-hmm. That I think it was Michelle was in there before. That space changes every 5 minutes, and they were in there for summer, and they actually did really well. And everybody was hoping that they would have both spots, but it's really hard to have two spots if you want to do a restaurant. It's hard. And actually, on that note, I have to say, Michael from Bravo's is actually the one person that I think could pull it off.
He seems to be. Tell us about what he's up to.
Well, he opened that new place right next door, which I think is the only way you could actually do it. That's Siam Thai Cucina, and it is fantastic.
Yeah,
really, really good. Both of his restaurants are great, Bravo's and the Siam is. I only got to go once so far, but and Restaurant Weeks is coming up, so they're both on there. There's so many places to try. There's Pez Limon is one of the places I'm going to try, which is a new kind of upscale marisco taqueria type place that's in a really weird location. How to describe it? Kind of behind the what used to be a Marimed hospital. I think it's called Hospiten now. Mm-hmm. You go down a little side street there, and it's in this little, and it's great. It's really, really fantastic. They have like pork belly and fish cheek tacos, like all upscale, but it's delicious. They had rose petal ice cream that was absolutely amazing, and it's really good and not expensive at all.
Sounds fancy, though.
Yeah, it sounds fancy, but it's really just a marisco taqueria, and you go in and it's really fun, decorated, like really young, and there's got a lot of energy and not expensive. I mean, it's not like a taco stand standing on the street, but it's not expensive.
What's it called again?
Pez Limon.
Pez Limon. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good place too.
Any hole in the wall places, that you
actually, there's a place right around the corner. Do you speak Spanish?
Sí.
You should go talk to that guy. It's called El Banquito, and it's literally a hole in the wall, and he has the best birria tacos. It's right around the corner here on Libertad, and it's literally a hole in the wall, and he has one stool outside, and that's the whole thing. And you get 3 birria tacos for 35 pesos, and they are fantastic. He always has a line out front. He's usually closed on Tuesdays. And last week he was closed for the Mother's Day, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. But he's been here forever. He would be a good interview, too.
Yeah, he's like in a closet, right? He's like in a little closet under the stairs.
It is, yes, totally. And he used to actually be in the restaurant next door, but I think they had some kind of family drama, and now he has that place. But he has a line always. There's always a big group of people there, and that place is great.
Now, is it real goat or is it
I think
beef?
It's beef.
Okay,
yeah, no, I think it's beef.
Because
there's you don't get that.
You
here
don't
a whole
find
lot.
it here.
It's out in the sticks, maybe. There's people are always like, oh, the best tacos, but if you get outside of Southside, actually the best tacos, it's called Sawayos. And it's right off Francisco Villa. Unfortunately, I don't know the street. It's right down the buses go down that street. It's right down the street where Los Muertos is on the corner. Los Muertos Pizza actually has an outpost way out there on the north side of town. Who'd have thought?
That.
Right on Francisco Villa. Los Muertos Pizza, and they'll bring a pizza. If you go down that little street, it's just only open at night. They have the best pastor. And they're only open at night, Sawayos, just on the left past Los Muertos.
Okay, I'll find it, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes for this episode.
Get out and explore.
Yeah, cool. Oh, I like it. I love hole in the wall. Any other hole in the walls you can tell us about?
Well, I actually went on. I do the coupon things now and then, but I'm really careful because I have a hard time using the coupons before they expire. But I did get one for this restaurant called Miranda, which is kind of it's up past the stadium. And before you get to, I'm giving like directions like a Mexican because that's how I don't know street names.
You're going to have to tell the driver that same thing.
So you go up past the stadium, and just before you get to the Bomberos, the fire station, you take a right, and it's right there. And I was really surprised how good that was. It was delicious. They had a filet and coconut shrimp special for next to nothing. Really nice people and a cute little place. So they definitely deserve some support too. Yeah, there's a million places.
I know. I know, and a million more. Obviously,
So many
we
to
have
explore.
no clue.
Yeah,
about.
once you get out of South Side, there's a lot to explore on the other side, and more. There's more and more opening up over there, and the marina. I think there's a lot of things happening in the marina right now too. Although I really wanted to go to that PV Chan's.
Yeah.
Everybody said, "Oh my God, Chinese food finally." And granted, I'm from San Francisco, so I don't want to talk
gonna be
about
tough.
Fei Long or any of those kind of places. No. I was up there the other day. It's only been a month. They're already closed.
Oh no!
And there's something else, some other new name on the.
Oh, it's not like just for the season. They're closed.
Yeah, they were closed, and there was a new name on the business, although it still sounded like it was maybe supposed to try to be some kind of Asian something or other. But
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed that came and went so fast.
Yeah, didn't make it. There
So-
are a few
Yeah.
Chinese restaurants around
Meh.
town, but they're itty bitty little.
Meh.
Okay, let that be a warning to all of you. Okay, you don't want to.
There's different levels.
Yeah. Yes, there is. What kind of advice would you give to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta?
A visitor?
Yeah.
Well, do some homework. I'm a part of many Facebook groups where people will just post things, something like, "We're coming to Vallarta. What should we do? How old are you? Do you have kids? What do you like to do? Do you want to sit at a bar and drink, or do you want to go to the botanical gardens, or you want to do activities?" There's a lot of things to do, and there's a lot of information out there. So do a little bit of, or if you're asking an open-ended question, help us help you by saying, we're this and that. We're outdoor people. We're not outdoor people. We're, have mobility issues. We like to shop or whatever. It helps. The Facebook groups can be really, really very useful and full of information. But you got to work it a little or help.
You got to help
people.
them.
Help people help you.
Because you'll get whacked.
Well, there's that too.
People go, "Hey, be specific. All right, what do you think? What do you think we are? Mind readers?"
That's true too. But yeah, no, there's definitely is so much to do here. There's it's a wide variety. So it just depends. So, you want to do food things, you want to do art things, you want to do culture things, you want to do physical things. It's a wide open question.
Sky's the limit. Just
It is.
listen to the podcast.
Literally,
You'll find out. Exactly.
literally.
Let's talk a little bit about shopping, because we're talking about shopping here and getting swimsuits. What about other kind of clothing in this area here that might be suitable for somebody who isn't a tiny little Mexican lady or
There's
something like
actually a shop down the street that's called Louisa's, and sometimes bathing suits need to be altered, to take a strap up or take a pinch down the hip or something like that. And she does alterations for bathing suits, but she's a seamstress that a lot of people go to you can make custom made clothes. Like she can copy, "This is my favorite dress, can you copy it?" Yes, she can do that.
Oh.
She makes manta, hand painted manta, which is Mexican cotton of all different sizes, like every size. She does men's clothes, she does women's clothes, children's things, and she's just on the next block. And she's been here in Vallarta for 25, 30 years. They had a huge anniversary. I think it was last year. And there's a couple other little shops around here. One is right on the corner that's called Successos, and they also do hand-painted, more like flowy, not chiffon, more like silk, hand-painted silk things, really like works of art. And they're right on the back corner from me. And then around the other corner in Agustin Rodriguez, there's a place that's called Lemongrass, and they have a lot of Bali and Indonesian imported type things, which when I hear that, I read small, but I don't know. I actually haven't looked in there. And there's De Paula around the corner. They also have a lot of manta, Mexican cotton, and everything else. There's a lot of little shops around here besides the usual trinket shops and T-shirts and that sort of stuff.
So this lady who does the seamstress, are there lots of seamstresses in Vallarta like that?
Well, when people ask for a seamstress on Facebook, "Oh yeah, this or there," I've heard of this one called Paula Boop, which is somewhere on the south side. There's another woman that's not far from Plaza Romy. Those are definitely more repair type places, but Louisa is like a full-on dress and clothing shop. And then there's always the one like, "Oh, I know this woman that does it, and she lives back in Agua Azul," or something like that. And so it's a matter of where you are and how much you want to search this person out.
How about for men? I mean, what is there as far as I see these guys in these white pants, and they're wearing the white Vallarta kind of shirts.
Guayaberos.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful.
Where do you get those?
There's actually two stores. Well, one is in the Gallerias, and they're kind of expensive, and it's called Guayaberos, but they are beautiful. Like, the quality of a Guayabero is kind of... it varies a lot from just a manta shirt to one that's really fine material and really nicely sewn, and it has a lot of details like pleats or darts or things like that. And they can go anywhere from, I'm going to say dollars, even though I don't like to say dollars. Mm-hmm. They can be anywhere from like $20 to $100, like in quality and variety.
Right.
So there's one in Gallerias. That's obviously, it's been an expensive mall. Those are more expensive. There's actually one off the highway going up to Nuevo. There's one there that has a pretty wide variety. And Louisa carries some. You can find them in some shops, but good ones are hard to find.
Yeah.
The other ones you'll see around in the different manta shops.
Cool. All right. That's nice to know. Let's talk a little bit about, you just celebrated a birthday and you went down to Maito. Are there other places that you like to get away for the day?
Day trip. Well, I have dogs, so I went to Maito because you can take your dogs. It's dog friendly, and that was an overnight, and it's easy. Day trips, otherwise, is all about. One of my dogs is a big puppy, so she needs to have constant interaction at this point. But I really like to go to Punta de Mita, and the beach up there on the way along, Destiladeras, is super nice. And during market season in the winter, the La Cruz market is gorgeous. Just a really nice marina. You walk along, and they have a few different vendors than they have on the south side. Some really good cheese, among other things. Mm-hmm. And I think that strip I really like a lot. I love, and have gone out many, many times on the Ada sailboat, which I think it's a little bit expensive, but for what you get, it's amazing.
So tell us about that. What do you get?
You go out from 10 to 4 is the day cruise, and it's top shelf, open bar, all day, anything you want. So you kind of got to watch that.
Yeah, I bet.
You kind of got to watch that.
On a boat, you know.
So, and then they'll start in the morning with a little fruit skewer, and then there's a banana bread, and then there's 4 or 5 appetizers, and then we park over at the beach close, just past La Cruz. There's a place there that's called Playa Real. I can't remember the name of it. And they park over there and stop the boat, and then you get your lunch, which is she has things like orange brandy shrimp, chipotle shrimp. There's a snapper baked with basil and fresh tomatoes. There's all these choices. Mushroom chicken, and the menu is incredible. And she cooks it in this little galley kitchen, and it's really, really good. And it's like you don't just get a few shrimp; you get like 10 giant shrimp, and the food is really nice. And then there's dessert, and then you're coming home and you're sailing, and there's music, and everyone's having a good time. And you can go on ticket days and meet other people, or you can get your own 10 or 12 people together and have your own kind of private cruise. The service is amazing.
Wow.
It's $120, but I think it's really worth it. And I've been on a lot of different boats, and I think for what you get for the price, I think it's really a good value.
Yeah.
So that's a definite once a month during the winter season.
Ada sailing.
For sure.
All
Ada
right.
sailing.
Ada.
Or Ada.
ADA. One of these days I'll get over and talk to her. How do people find you? Where do they locate you? Are you online?
Well, I have been here for 10 years, so a lot of it is word of mouth, that a lot of women are like, oh my God, I went to this great bathing suit place. I have one woman actually that she snowbirds down at, I think she's at Playa Gemelas. I forget where she stays, but she literally tells every single woman by the pool, you have to go and buy a bathing suit. And every single one does come here and buy a bathing suit. So the word of mouth is huge. It's been 10, 11 years. I advertise in the Tribune. I did that when I first started, then I didn't for a while. Now I'm back in there. Facebook, I love Facebook. I'm a total Facebook addict. I have a website, but I don't sell bathing suits online because I really don't believe in that process. I really think you have to try a bathing suit on, because I've had the same woman buy a size 10 and a size 18. There's no rhyme or reason to bathing suit sizes or how they're going to fit. And I know that probably 90% of the women have ordered a bathing suit online, they get it, it doesn't fit, then you have to send it back, or it doesn't arrive in time for their vacation, or believe me, I've heard all the stories. And I just don't think, I think shoes, bras, and bathing suits, you have to try them on. I just don't see doing that online. Maybe flip-flops you can buy online.
Okay. All right.
Great.
And so your address here is?
Juarez 174, Centro. We are right in front of Electra in the Mercado area, halfway between the Quale River and the Guadalupe Church.
Right, and the Electra is the bank that's right across the way, where I tell you guys, if you got to exchange your money, take your passport with you and take your cash over there, and they will give you the best rate that you can get. And Robina, I thank you so much for just spending the time with me
was fun.
And allowing me to introduce you and your business to my listeners. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, Robina. You guys, I really like Robina. You know, I know that you're going to like her too. And guys, you guys out there, now you know how to make your lady happy while you're in paradise. Get that look off your face. You know what I'm talking about. Go buy her a swimsuit from Robina's place. And by the way, right now she's having an incredible summer sale. And it's a clearance sale. And it's all summer through the end of August. So if you're in town, you know what? You really need to get a swimsuit. It's freaking hot out there. So go see Robina at La Sirena Reina, and you're going to be so glad that you did. Her regular hours, are Monday to Friday from 11 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. And she closes on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, Robina also closes her shop for the month of September, because it's a little slow in September and very hot, but she gets right to work the 1st of October. And by the way, this coming season is going to be her 12th year in business in Puerto Vallarta. So she's not a flash in the pan, folks. All right, here we go. So that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I have all the information about La Sirena Reina in the show notes. I've got links to Facebook pages, and I've got a map, all that other good stuff. So I've got also pictures of the inside of the shop, got a picture of Robina, and just check it out in the show notes for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. All right, well, that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. And if you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. Once again, if you like this podcast, please take some time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do that with each episode that I create. And if you haven't been to my website, shame on you. You really need to get there. Check them out. I have links to all the places we talk about. I have interesting pictures and more right there in the blog post and in the show notes for each episode of the show that I create. So check them out if you haven't already. All right? All right. Well, thank you, Edgar, Rene, Luna, Chang. When you see him dancing on the Malecon, you guys, in front of the 3 nightclubs or across from the Margarita Grill, say hello, give him a tip, pose with him for a picture, call him Edgar instead of Rambo. Just see his face light up. And thanks to you, Robina Oliver, you have a fantastic store. Small but packed full of fantastic merchandise, beautiful swimsuits, colorful wraps. Stop by our place, buy a swimsuit, Ask her for Vallarta advice. It's nice and air-conditioned too, you guys, so don't worry about that either. Stop by her place, buy a suit, like I said, and ask her for some advice. I have pictures of her and her place and links to the places that we talked about in the show notes for this episode, so check them out. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de